I'm just going to talk a little bit more about anxiety in animals too.
Good.
And I just wanted to know just things to think about. What does this look like? What does anxiety in animals look like to you? And does this look anxious to you? And how would you know?
Oh,
This,
good
yeah, this,
question.
so this cat has kind of the soft eyes, doesn't he? Kind of the soft, a little bit squinty eyes. His ears are up. He has kind of a soft look on his face. Um, so I have another. He's actually not at all anxious. This is my own cat. Well, both of my cats. The other one's in the background there, but he's very happy to have me right there. Um, how would you know if an animal is anxious? So I have some pictures. These are all dogs instead, but look at these looks. These are all anxious dogs, actually. These are all my patients. And the bigger picture, you can see the tongue flicking like that. That's a common sign of anxiety in dogs. And you can see the little cavalier at the top with the ears down and the eyes big. I mean, she's a cavalier, so of course her eyes are big, but the ears down, she's a little bit worried. The lower picture of the brown dog with the of looking to the side, that is an extraordinarily anxious dog. It's maybe hard to tell in this picture, but she would not come near. She would not look anyone in the eye, not even her own person. And she had been like that her whole life, 15 years had looked like this. So these are all anxious dogs. Some of the things that you might be able to tell, I just wrote some things down to think about: hiding, chasing their tail, or chasing other parts of their body, or chasing. And we saw like the one dog with the ears down. It might be hard to tell, but you could see that they come down further than even the normal shape of the ears in that one. With cats, especially, their tail swishing. Now, sometimes they're just getting ready to hunt, right? Sometimes they're watching the birds outside or something. So you have to differentiate that tail down in a dog, if they have a tail, that you can see the lip licking and the flicking of the tongue, like we saw in the one. Sometimes vocalizing. I actually have a patient that I just just sent a remedy for today. I wasn't seeing that patient. I was seeing a relative, but they said, "Can we talk about this one too for a little bit?" She's just barking and whining and barking and whining, and I sent a remedy for her to help her with that. Trembling and shaking. I mean, if they're, of course, if they're having a seizure, other seizure-like activity, that's different, but that certainly can be a sign. Looking away and down. You remember the dog on the couch who was kind of looking away? That was an anxious dog. Slinking, keeping low to the ground. I mean, unless they're hunting, right? Then they're doing that. But often that can be anxiety. And there are a lot. You can think about your own animals, what kinds of things you have seen. Can anybody think of anything that they want to mention? And that's different about that might indicate anxiety?
A few others from the chat is yawning,
That's a great one.
eye
For
rolling,
sure. Yes. Really good.
pacing,
Yes. The restlessness. Yes, for sure.
panting.
Yeah. So often sometimes panting is something different. Sometimes it's discomfort. Sometimes it's heat. That sometimes it's tricky to differentiate, but these are great. You guys are good.
They are staring at her, meowing and pacing, bug eyes in cats, and refusing food or treats. That's actually a
Yes.
really good one, refusing treats.
That's really good. I mean, obviously they could have an upset stomach. They could have something else going on, and pain in their mouth or pain in their neck. But for sure, these are really, really good points. Thanks so much. You guys are good at this. Wow. So there are lots of things we can do when our animals are anxious. And I'm sure you know about some of these already. Flower essences such as Rescue Remedy. I really like to use a non-alcoholic rescue remedy, but some animals are fine with the alcoholic kind. You can even dab it on the inside of the ear, not down in the ear, but on the pinna. The pinna is the part that sticks up if it's a cat, like this cat, which is actually my grand cat, one of my grand cats. And and the hairless portion on the inside, but not down in the ear. Or you can put in the mouth, or you can put on the gums, you can put on the nose. I always let them sniff it first so they know it's not scary. Like, I'm just going to give you some of this. It's not scary. It's not going to hurt you, but it will really help. And like Dr. Christina said, you can definitely take some first, because often we are feeling anxious when we see our animals anxious, or we were anxious first. And it sure isn't going to hurt a thing for us to take it. There's calming music that's made for animals, such as Through a Dog's Ear. They have a cat one, they have a human one. The big thing with the human one is never drive with that on. It's too relaxing. You don't want to be falling asleep with that. I keep this in my office. We have, I do house calls and farm calls, but also we have an office at an agility center for dogs. We see cats and pigs there, and every kind of other animal. It's too small for horses though. And we do put on the calming music for usually every patient. And it really does help me to feel calmer. It helps the person to feel calmer who comes with the animal too. And the animal often. Positive reinforcement of calm. So when they are calm, not just during the anxiety provoking situations, but whenever they can be calm. With dogs, you might have them, if you're doing dog training, do that relaxed position where they're on one hip, or they're laying down on one hip, and that's a relaxed position, and you reward, and you might use the word relax or whatever word you want. The one word I really don't like from my own experience dog training, I'm sure you already know this, is the word okay, because we say it so often, and then we're going to say it at the wrong time, and it's going to make them get up or whatever. But think of a good reinforcement word that you don't use often in conversation. You could give high value treats, something they really, really like, or a toy if they don't like treats. T-touch is a wonderful thing to do to help with relaxation too. My favorite is just the 1, 2, or 3 fingers, 1 1/4 clockwise circles. So the way a clock goes, 1 1/4. And then you can 1 1/4 around the mouth, if they allow it, is very calming. It also helps with the gums. It also helps with TMJ issues. It helps with any mouth issues if they allow around the mouth or around the TMJ, which is temporomandibular joint, where your mandible and maxilla come together here. 1 1/4. And you have to experiment to see what they allow, what kind of pressure they like best, your animal family likes best. And sometimes they will even allow you to do it on their gums. It's wonderful for animals that won't eat. And someone did mention refusing treats, and that is exactly it. This really can help them want to eat. Again, as long as there's not some other condition going on that's making them uncomfortable. But this can help with that also. The ears also on the pinna, if they allow, you can do there. If they don't want you to touch their head, you can do behind the ears. There's a point there. My business name is Anshen, which means calming the spirit. And there's an Anshen point in the hole right behind the ear. And that's another calming point that you can touch. Anywhere on the body that if they won't allow that, somewhere else on the body that might be calming. This area in the center of the head, again, if they allow, is another calming area, Chinese medicine calming area, Long Wei or Danshen. So any place that they allow the gentle 1 1/4 circles. And you can read books on T-touch too, give you more information. But then I wanted to talk a lot about how to help yourself be calm, because we know that if we are calm, it really can help our animals. And it certainly does not help our animals for us to not be calm. And I know this well because before I got homeopathy, for me, anxiety was something I had to constantly control in myself. So I constantly meditate. I constantly did qigong movements and breathing, and I did a lot of yoga every day. I took rescue remedy when needed. I listened to calming music. I listened to nothing in the car. I really had to work at it. Now that I'm getting treated myself, I feel much better, and I don't have anxiety anymore. So it's a wonderful thing.